We're all here, so I will call the Committee on Government Operations to order. Madam Clerk, when you are ready, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kniezek.
Here.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Killeen.
Right here.
Chair Dobb.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Next item, please.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none today. Thank you. Next item.
C, approval of January 12th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Move approval.
Support. Killeen.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Please say
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item.
B, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1 under new business. Communication from Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director of the Department of Corporation Counsel, Human Relations / Business Inclusion Division, forwarding the report on the division's current activities and achievements.
Okay, so we're going to take all the items. We'll go through all the items, and then I'll ask for a motion for recommendation at the end of the agenda. So for item number 1, Ms. Ennis Edwards, did you want to just give an update on this report?
Sure, thank you. Victoria Ennis Edwards, Director of Wayne County's Human Relations and Business Inclusions Division. The update kind of gives you an idea of what we've been doing for the whole year. As you know, it's been a continuation of the ups and downs of COVID, deciding what you're going to do and not do. But proud to say that I think the division has pivoted in such a wonderful way. One of the biggest things that I'll tell you the division has done is we've broken down into smaller hands-on groups. Normally, we try to do large training sessions and workshops across the county. You cannot gather in those large numbers. So what we had to do is make a decision of doing more one-on-one, particularly once spring hit and we had the ability to be out on patios. We'd work with small groups where we'd give them information about being registered and certified throughout the county. And we know that is important when you are bidding for equalization credits. So we are still able to keep up the pace working from home. In fact, I think we might be a little bit more productive because you have a chance. We teasingly say we cut some of that commute out. That way we get to work a little bit longer. We have found a way to do on-site visits with a lot of the businesses with technology. We will start with Google Earth, some of the other mapping programs to make sure we can physically know that they're there. We will do a drive-by to make sure that the building is there. With the use of FaceTime and other type technology, we're literally talking and doing the on-site interview with the business owner. And then we're able to walk through the facility, and with their camera, they're able to show us the facility. So for us, we really have figured out how to pivot so that we're not looking and, finding ways not to do our work. We're finding ways to do it. And I think connecting even more so with our people. I did a ton of one-on-ones myself. One of the programs that we work with, we partner with the other agencies, such as MDOT. That's our sister agency for the DBE program, but it's not just DBE, it's small business as well. And we work with them with the bonding education program. I'm a presenter a lot of times. We do one-on-one with the businesses because part of the thrust of human relations is not only recruiting people and trying to get them registered, but we want to make sure that they're ready and that we help them with technical assistance. Sometimes we have businesses that have started as a mom and pop fledgling, let's say in their home or in their garage. Well, they've outgrown that space. So then we try to make sure that they're ready. And then we're able to connect them with our economic development team who can actually help them look for a location. And of course, we try to have them located where else but wonderful Wayne County. So we partner with those different agencies to try to do so, to help them thrive. Um, just to kind of flip through and give you some answers of some of the questions that are specifically asked. Our turnaround time on applications, we're still between 5 and 7 weeks turning around the average application, and that's for the uniform application, which would be small business or targeted growth, county-based. It's the larger applications or DBE. The FEP, we usually can turn those around in 2 to 3 weeks, unless you ask for a fast track. Then we could do those in 3 days, or up to 3 days. Sometimes we can turn it around the same day. One of the other things that we have been doing is making sure that we are working with the airport, again, the other sister agency, as we do certifying for them, and making sure that we can help give information regarding these programs. We show up to all of their conferences. They had, meaning the airport, had a small business symposium, particularly targeting our women and minority-owned vendors within the rental car space. What are the contracts within renting cars? Whether is it providing gas? Are you providing janitorial services? So we worked with them as well. Speaking with these groups, finding out what do they need. So that's the other thrust right now. What's that space with our businesses? What is the gap that is not being filled? Because you can register and you can get them certified, but sometimes during certification, you'll realize there's something missing. Maybe they can't give you 2 consecutive tax years. So then we try to make sure that they either get to an accountant. We work with legal aid to make sure that they have a resource. So trying to help not only register them and certifying, but build them up so they're ready for those bid opportunities. A lot of the bid opportunities will lead us to right now the criminal justice complex that we're building. We've been targeting the FF&E, which is the furniture and the fixtures and equipment, which are the smaller bids, whether it's trash cans, desks, chairs. We have been actively recruiting for well over a year, trying to make sure that we have a robust list of county-based businesses, women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses that can actually bid on this. Again, we get them registered and certified so that the dollars that are spent in Wayne County budgets cycle in within our communities. So that is one of our largest projects right now. We are trending we are trending right now about 67% with our vendors being county-based. One of the things that we have been doing is we've been doing our own kind of quiet audit. We have people in our database that were certified maybe 3 years ago. For some reason, they just decided not to get certified, or maybe they didn't have time. So we're looking at that and reaching out to them to make sure that we are getting a very robust pool. Part of that is working with our procurement director, Erin Wagner, to try to find areas within procurement that we can utilize the small business procurement language that's already in the ordinance, and how we can trigger more programs to make sure that our smaller and our micro businesses are getting the opportunities at the table. So that is one of the large thrust. Last thing that I really will probably report on before I come before you again, we have started again the search, narrowing it down to possibly 1 or 2 new vendors for a system for the division. There are limitations, as you heard me say several times, with the current system. One thing over the years that really rings true, what we do is so specialized. Our needs and the needs of other departments don't actually mesh all the time. There's a portion of what we do that we can share, but there's some areas that are so specialized that if we're going to be effective and serve our business communities, we are going to have a specialized system. So we've been working with Erin and with our CFO, Huey Newsome, to really make sure that we're going to be able to have the funding. So I'm sure I'll be reporting to you again, and then Ways and Means, looking for a budget adjustment. Once we narrow down from those systems and then implement it so that we can be sleeker, more user-friendly, and grab the data and be able to do the reporting necessary. And you know, data drives results. We try to do it all with a smile. I meet with my team every 2 weeks, and we have monthly staff meetings. And we try our best to make sure that we're out there and available to all of our business communities. Are there any specific questions I can answer at this time?
Thank you so much for that great update. I'd love to hear that you are using technology to be even more efficient, hopefully, although we have this pandemic and we have to do things differently now. So I'm really happy to hear that. And you talked about the turnaround time that you have for some of the different applications.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any data, or could you just speculate on excuse me, do you think that that turnaround time is getting better now that you're using the different types of technology rather than how you were doing it pre-pandemic?
I think it's kind of a combination. It is better because we don't take paper applications at all. And we actually started that before the pandemic, but the pandemic made it, a hard line. We're not going downtown, so we can't accept the paper. By people having to complete the application online, we get it quicker and we can review it easier. The other thing is we've also had to tweak our policies and of how we process them just a little bit. In that we've had to decide if your application is not basically 90 to 95% filled out, and because we get it electronically, we can look through it easier, not waiting for other documentation to come through the mail. We have a whole complete packet. If somebody supplies us with, for example, the front page and only one of the 7 documents we need, we end up returning it to them with a list that says, these are the items that we need. And then we hope that they'll resubmit it instead of holding on to it, because then you create that long lag, but people are still not responding. So I think it is the duality of the technology and just having to tweak some of our practices, because if not, we'd have a huge deck of just paper where we could not respond. I will say also too, by us pivoting electronically and then our mindset also pivoting with it, I think that has truly helped. The technology has made a difference of how quickly we are receiving things. Before it was a hybrid, it was both. You could do it either through the mail or you could send it to us electronically. Well, what's been happening with the mail. So if we were waiting on the mail, that really does, slow us down.
Great. Love to hear these efficiencies. Thank you. Commissioner Colleen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And good afternoon, Ms. Innes Edwards. Yeah, thank you for the report. This is really good, thorough, good stuff. But I have basically one question. You provided a little chart in there for fiscal years 1920 and then 2021 in terms of the businesses, who's not certified, who's certified. If I'm reading this right, is in fiscal year 1920, we had 4,000 registered businesses, but as of last fiscal year, it's down to 3,700 total?
Yes. Yes.
Those aren't separate numbers for each year.
No, what happened with the registration numbers? We're assuming some of it also was because of the pandemic. We have quite a few businesses that have actually gone defunct.
Yeah.
And remember, I talked about us trying to do an audit. Part of that audit is if we don't notice, either they have not submit their annual affidavit or they don't respond to emails. We're giving them a call to see what's going on. We're having, businesses that unfortunately they had to shutter themselves and they fell off of the roll.
Yeah.
And that is part of why you are seeing that. And, we're sad about it, but that is the reality of what has happened.
Uh-oh, somebody's frozen. My entire screen is frozen.
Oh, you're
Oh, man.
Your screen
Are
is.
we
but
back
can-
offline, TK?
Commissioner Colleen, we can still hear you.
Yeah, I can still hear you, sir.
Maybe not. The county was having internet problems, and it looks like Commissioner Colleen is in the Guardian, so maybe we did lose him. Okay,
I can
we'll
follow up with him too.
yeah, we'll just move on, and then hopefully he'll rejoin us. Okay. Any further questions on item number 1? All right, hearing none. Thank you so much for joining us, Victoria.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh no, did we lose our clerk too? Okay, so
That's called politics.
yeah, I think we're all set with item number 1. So, Madam Clerk, can we move on to item number 2, please?
Item 2, communication from Sue Hammoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel, forwarding the Department of Corporation Counsel's settlement report for September 2021 through December 2021.
Okay, I see we do have Sue Hammoud with us.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hello.
This is just a settlement report being submitted to the honorable body pursuant to the resolution of settlements that Corporation Counsel settles from September 2021 through December 2021.
Okay, thank you. Do any commissioners have any specific questions on this item? I don't see any hands. All right, thank you, Ms. Hammoud. We will move on to the next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, communication from Robin Dillard-Rousseau, Director of Indigent Defense Services Department, forwarding report on criminal indigent defense-related activities, including the number of cases, number of assigned service providers, number of cases per service provider, cost per period, and other annual statistics from its activities, and similar statistics for the activities of Neighborhood Defender Service, Inc.
Okay, so this report was emailed to everyone separate from the agenda. So I had a moment of panic this morning when I was re-reviewing my agenda and it wasn't in the analysis packet. Is Robin here with us?
I'm here, Commissioner Dodd. Good morning, everyone.
Great. Good morning. Good morning. Before we go into this, any commissioners, do you have any specific questions on the report? Okay, Commissioner Colleen.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. And thank you, Ms. How do you say the Rousseau?
Yeah, Dillard-Rousseau.
Dillard-Rousseau. Thank you for the report. It's
Yes.
comprehensive, but here's my issue with it. When is the contract up with the new group we brought in to handle that 25% of the indigent defense?
Neighborhood Defender Service.
Yeah, Neighborhood Defenders. How long is their contract running?
Their contract ran from, it technically ended September 31st, and then we renewed them, and the new contract came before this body as well, from October 1st to September 30th of this year. So their contract has been renewed for fiscal 22.
Okay, so it's going to be a couple of years before. Now, what I was looking for in the report, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is where I sit, and it's why I asked you about the renewal. You know, I'm trying to get a handle on, there's a lot of numbers in here, but I can't get a handle on comparing this to the way we used to do it, right? To say, yeah, we should keep doing this. This is the right way. I know we got the state MIDC, you know, but I don't have a comparison for how things are different. I've been a big supporter of this, you know, it's kind of a constitutional guarantee for Americans to have, and so the more we can do that, particularly for the indigent, I'm all in favor. But you know, like I see your budget, you reported 8.3 million. I have no idea what we used to spend on this, you know, as kind of comparison. So those are the kinds of things, you know, you mentioned in here to transition the current event-based attorney fee schedule to the hourly fee schedule. That's going to have budgetary impacts. So I'm just, I'm looking for a way, you say significant fee increases for private assigned counsel handling 75% of the cases, but there's no data with that, right? It just says we've increased them. So I'm kind of looking for, in the report, you also say there were 15,100 felony cases. I don't know what we handled 3 years ago, right? So I need the context, I guess, for what we used to be doing and what we're doing now. Because I don't want to wait until there's a contract renewal before us to start having this conversation, right? To me, that's the wrong time. Does that make sense to you?
It does, Commissioner Killeen, and just for clarity's sake, so are you saying that, and let me just say this, Commissioner Killeen, if I could, for this first report as our department, we tried to err on the side of including as much information that we could gather, as you can see. So moving forward, certainly if you're looking for a comparison, as you just said, so for instance, would you be saying what was handled in indigent defense numbers, say 3 years ago prior to MIDC implementation versus now in terms of caseload and those items? I'm sure we can come up with those numbers to sort of lay them out in that fashion. What we were trying to do, I believe, is simply show what's currently happening and what the state is sort of funding, if you know what I mean. So, but we can certainly come up with some numbers and see what we can do to sort of make that comparison, if you will, between what maybe the state appellate or the state defender office was handling versus NDS. We can try to make some of that happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, endless list of lawyers, you know, in small print. What I'm, you know, I sit in a policymaker position here. And so I don't need endless attorneys, you know, on a spreadsheet in small print. What I need is from the policy aspect of things. We've changed. What's the changes? How are we better servicing people because of this? You know, this is just the facts report that you gave us. And I could use help in a report to the commission, more on policy stuff, you know? And then any previews you can get, because I guess there's still 3 or 4 more things to come down with the state. We're up to 5, right?
Yes, yeah, additional standards, correct.
Yeah, the standards, and then having some idea, again, as a policymaker ahead of time, what are the new standards coming aboard, right? And I also am interested in the cost, because this is it's, Ms. Diller-Russo, it's appropriate to say this is a state mandate.
Correct.
And of course, everybody's favorite thing is unfunded mandates. So also keeping track of the financial relationship between us and the state. I know the state is having some discussions about putting, and I talked to public sector consulting a while ago on this, as to putting more of the cost. The state's looking at putting more of the cost on the county. So, you know, that issue out there, I want to stay up on, but also just in general, how this compares to what we used to do.
Okay. Financially
and mainly, you know, servicing people, you know. So that's it. That's my comment on it. I enjoyed reading the report. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Stay up on current, but I'm looking for how we're a better county because of this. So thank you very much. And thank you, Madam Chair.
Other commissioner questions on the Indigent Defense Council report? Okay. Is there anything you would like to add, Ms. Diller-Russo? I know there was a lot of information. It was a big report, so you know.
Commissioner Dodd, the only thing I would like to say is, you know, just the smallest reminder that as we take over some of the work and the data that we're capturing from Third Circuit, and as we get our case management system up and running, some of our reporting obviously is going to change, get more sophisticated. Into Commissioner Killeen's report, we can use some of that data to make these comparisons. So we're very aware of that. Makes perfect sense. I totally understand. And we erred on the side, as I mentioned, for this report and putting a lot of information in because it is the first departmental report, and basically showing the commission this is what we're reporting to the state anyway on a quarterly basis when it comes to the assignments and the payments for the attorneys and the like. And also mainly showing how we're compliant with the standards as a county. So moving forward, certainly if there are additional things that this body would like to see coming out of our department, we would certainly want to address that, and we'll work with commission staff to make sure it's all inclusive. But I do want to just mention that, you know, just a little bit of grace in the sense as we make this transition to our own case management system, our data sort of abilities will change. So I just wanted to say that, but we have accomplished a lot given, you know, the transition out of court counsel into our own department and facing challenges with the state, as Commissioner Colleen points out, with their issues and in the work groups and the local share conversations. So moving forward, you know, we want to be as comprehensive as we can, but we also want to make sure we're capturing all the information that this body would like to see and report, you know, how indigent defense system reform is happening in the county. So that's really all I wanted to add, and I do remain available for any further questions.
Okay, thank you so much. Here, seeing no other hands raised, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a grant agreement with the State of Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs.
Okay, do we have any questions or discussion on this item? This is for the remonumentation grant. All right, seeing none. Next item, please.
Item 5, ordinance to amend Chapter 130, Section 130-7 of the Wayne County Code of Ordinances.
All right, Commission Counsel, are you on for this item?
Madam Chair, I am on, but the court who is making this request, representatives are on as well.
Okay. Could we have someone speak to this item?
Yes, hi, good morning. Lynn Roberts, I think it's still morning. Good morning, Lynn Roberts, Chief Financial Officer for the Third Circuit Court. And I also believe Richard Lynch, General Counsel, is available. Rich, I can't see you on the screen. Okay, I know he was driving, so he may still be in process. So I'm prepared to speak for this.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Rich Lynch is here. I am just entering the building, so I am available.
Okay, great. Thank you. If you could just give us an explanation of the changes to the ordinance, and yeah, that's all.
Yes. Okay, so at the onset of the pandemic, as you may recall, pretty much everything was shut down, including the ability for the court to proceed with facilitating jury trials. So until we could implement provisions to make sure that all jurors who came to serve were safe and social distancing and all the other accommodations could be provided for, you know, the court did not reopen. One of the things that we thought, because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people did have some apprehension about serving and participating in this important service, we felt that it would be of great service if we could continue to provide hazard pay or pandemic pay in the amount of $10 per day for jury service. And as part of that, the court did receive CARES funding to offset the amount for the juror hazard pay. And so if the ordinance that was amended a year or so ago allowed the provision was that pay could continue until the expiration of CARES dollars. Those CARES dollars were no longer available as of December 31st of 2021. However, the court wanted to continue to offer this as we're still in the height of the pandemic. And so an amendment to the ordinance was required to make some changes. So there were a couple aspects that were added or modified in it. And it was to state that rather than using CARES funds, the court would use a portion of its jury appropriation to cover the cost of this $10 per day pay. And we will also, I think we put a date certain in the ordinance. I believe it's, I don't have it in front of me, December 31st of 2022, so that we could put a date certain in time to say that, you know, hopefully by then the pandemic will be over and that we could, you know, remove the need to continue to pay that.
Okay. And then we are going to hold a public hearing at the Wayne County Commission meeting on February 3rd, 2022. Will that be the only public hearing that is necessary to amend this ordinance?
Through the chair, this is Felicia. Yes, that will be the only public hearing that will be necessary. This item was on last week's full board agenda for first reading. After this body recommends it, it will then go back to full board for the public hearing and for vote of the commission. I do want to make one correction. So as the ordinance is currently written after discussion with the court representatives, it's actually written so that they will be allowed to continue this additional $10 until the CDC determines that the pandemic no longer exists. Just because, you know, it's difficult at this point to ascertain how long they'll need to make that payment. We didn't want to put a date certain, though we did discuss it. But ultimately, in the end, it was decided and language was included to end the pay when the CDC determines that the pandemic doesn't exist. So the court will have authority to continue beyond this year if necessary. So long as they have funding. So funding will either be their appropriation that they get from the county or grants, which they have applied for but have not yet been awarded. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so there is right now and I'm looking at it now, there is no end date. It is until the CDC declares an end to the pandemic, or, and you said funding runs out?
Right. So it's also contingent upon funding. So if there are no funds available to pay this additional, and I want to stress it's an additional $10, not the entire pay, just an additional $10. If funding runs out, you know, whether it's through the county and the court's appropriation or whether they can't find grants, then they would not be required to actually offer it if they don't have a funding source to pay it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I absolutely support this, but I couldn't help but think about, I've had jurors tell me that the county actually sent them 2 paychecks for being on jury duty, which I'll leave that one alone for the moment. But the fact that Judge Kinney is only allowing 2 trials a week, and we're the largest county in the state, and people that have been doing heinous crimes, the backlog is unbelievable how bad it is. So the court has some responsibilities other than just giving jurors an extra $10 a day. I absolutely support that, but the court's got some major issues, and anything I can do as only one of 15 commissioners to make noise for supporting the circuit court to be more efficient and move some of these cases. You know, we've got some major issues here, and it's not just COVID. We should be expanding the role of the circuit court and to try to get justice for people that deserve justice, like the victims. And I'll leave it alone. I'm not looking for a response.
Thank you, Commissioner Basham. Commissioner Killeen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What has been the effect of the pandemic on the number of people that respond to their jury questionnaire? You know, I know a lot of things. Yeah, I know a lot of things are in flux now because fewer trials and all that kind of stuff. But what have we seen in terms of how people are actually responding to their jury summonses?
Rich, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, Commissioner Killeen, this is Richard Lynch, General Counsel for the court. And the information that I've received indicates that the response rates are about on par with where they were prior to the pandemic.
Huh.
So they're not the greatest numbers because, as we have reported to the commission in the past, the total response rate for jurors is lower than we desired. However, those people who are responding, are appearing, and they're participating in the process. And we are confident, and I believe that Judge Kenny spoke to this when he was before the full commission last week, that we are looking to expand the total number of jurors or juries that we're doing in the criminal court from 2 a week to 4 a week. So we're working with the resources we have. We're working diligently to make sure we have a safe, socially distanced environment and to ensure that all individuals receive the rights that they have under the law, under the jury system as the court provides it.
Yeah, I know you're working hard on that, and it's interesting that the percentages really didn't change much, I guess. People that feel their citizenship duties feel it whether there's a pandemic or not, that it doesn't. So the number's too low, but in a sense, that's good. I would love to find a way to make this permanent, you know, the way myself, when I've sat on juries, you know, the amount that we give citizens to compensate them for their time is wholly inadequate and probably has something to do with the low response rate. So hopefully at some point this becomes permanent, not just, of course, the pandemic may be permanent, so it may work out that way. CDC may never declare that it's over, so we'll see. Thank you for that info. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Killeen. All right, any other commissioner questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of modification 8 to a 2-year legal services contract with a 1-year option to renew with Dickinson Wright.
Okay, any questions on this item? Okay, I don't. Commissioner Basham, did you have a question? You just left your hand up. Okay. All right.
My hand is down.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of Amendment 7 to a professional services contract with Gokler Point Communications.
Okay, any questions or discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, next item, please. Okay, so we're done with the action items. Could I get a motion of recommendation to move these items to full board?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Anyone like to support?
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kniezek,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark-Holman,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen,
Aye.
Chair Dobb,
Yes. All right, motion passes. Now we will move on to the next item.
Item 8, a discussion with County Clerk Kathy Garrett about CPL e-scheduling.
Okay, is Clerk Garrett with us? I did see Dwayne. Let me explain.
Yes, the clerk is, yes, I think Madam Clerk, she was here. She's, maybe she got disconnected.
Oh, no, I see her.
I'm here.
Hello, Madam Clerk. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. So it's you yourself, and I see someone's with you.
Yeah.
In physically, and then Dwayne's here. Is there anyone else from your office?
That's it.
Okay, great. So I wanted to bring you back today to talk about the CPL e-schedulers. I know that you were having some issues with getting those up to speed. You know, it's the pandemic. And I think last time we met and we talked about this, there was an issue with lack of space and staffing. I checked the scheduler this morning, and the soonest available appointment is May 23rd. So that's about like 4 months out. I'm just going to turn it out over to you to give us an update on where you're at with that issue.
Okay, again, I say good afternoon to everyone. I'm not certain what type of update you're looking for because it's status quo. We still have limited square footage. We still have limited staffing. And just to give you a snapshot, we have 90 vacancies in the county clerk's office. Out of that 90, 13 of them are in our vital statistics division, which includes CPL. And then to let you know how we've been operating over here since this is government ops. Since December of 2021 through present, we've had 12 resignations. They left for better jobs with better benefits. We've had 6 transfers to other offices within the county. We've had 1 promotion to a court, she transferred, promoted to a court clerk, and we had 1 retirement. That's a total of 20 employees that had, none of them had no less than 2 years of experience and extensive training. So we've lost 20 valuable employees in the past year. But I digressed a little bit. So to your answer, we still have the same situation here. We have, as I said, 13 vacancies in our vital statistics division. And we're still in the same space. And to give you a greater snapshot, the customers are in what is known as the common area, also known as the hallway, which is 180 square feet. Based on what the building authority, as well as the deputies that we have on staff here on the 2nd floor, we can only accommodate 10 customers in the hallway. You move into the office, that is, that square footage, I think might be 200 and some odd square feet, which will accommodate 5 customers. Therefore, we service 5 customers every 15 minutes, which equates to, we have 130 appointments per day, which is 520 per week. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think in spite of all that, the obstacles that we have in the way, the staff is still finding a way to get it done. And again, it's scheduled out so far because, as you well know, we're the largest county and people want their CPLs.
Okay. Has the Westland satellite office been reopened, or are there plans to reopen that?
Commissioner, I don't know if you've ever visited the Westland satellite office.
I have.
Okay, and if you have visited, you've seen how extremely small it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course, I think of creative ways, but again, if you don't have the staffing to be creative with, then you just have to maintain how you can maintain.
Right. So, so you're not at the point with staff to be able to open that office at this time?
We're 13 down in our vitals division alone.
Okay. Okay. We got, you guys got some new fingerprinting machines to help with the CPL licenses. Did that make any difference with getting things a little bit?
Not to cut you off, but it's kind of apparent that the understanding for the fingerprint machines was not understood. At one point, we were operating with 1 fingerprinting machine that was like a copy, the size of a Xerox copier. The reason for getting the additional fingerprinting machines, that way we could accommodate fingerprinting 5 people at one time versus people having to submit their application and then wait for that 1 fingerprinting machine. So, I mean, it's a wash if you'll accept that.
Okay. Okay. And I just have one other question. Are you, I know we just had some turnover at the top of our HR department. So we do have our new HR director, but have you been, or were you working with HR, or have you been working with HR to,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
can you give
And-
any specifics on what you're doing to attract new staff or retain the people that we have? Or is there anything that I know that I'm going to sound, I know the answer, I think, and you're going to say the same thing that we hear over and over. And I think it's salary and benefits, but I'm just going to ask you to say it. What do you think that we need to attract new staff and retain staff?
Salary and benefits. That's what it is. And you know what? And because of those 20 individuals that have left here, you don't know much about me, but I build personal relationships with the staff. And the fact that that was it, that they had greater opportunity to go versus staying here. And I couldn't offer anything. I couldn't offer them anything, and I definitely wouldn't be one. Now, I pleaded with a few of them, and they might have stayed a few months longer, but that's why. And then let me say this, we have been, as of last week, Dwayne and Pat Ways and myself, we did meet with Ms. Allen as well as Mr. Newsom. So I do feel that they're, at least in communication and relationships, I think we're moving in the right direction. But the point is, what the point is that people are leaving because of salary and benefits, and then the recruitment. Now, I'm a one-woman recruiter wherever I'm at. If I see people that are providing good customer service, they're respectful to me, I've been known to ask them, what about coming to work in the Wayne County Clerk's office? I also talk about the fact that that career track to being a court clerk, that's a career where we've had court clerks that have left Michigan and gone and worked in other states. So I do my one-woman recruiting. However, the recruitment comes from the standpoint, as you know, of HR. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. That's all the questions that I had. Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there, I do know we just brought out a new HR director. Do you think that maybe having some conversations with HR regarding the upgrade of some of your positions would help? Because that appears to be your big stumbling block. If some of those positions could be upgraded, maybe you could then convince some of the employees to stay. Because I know if there is no chance for upward mobility, people are not going to stay, no matter. I mean, they might love you, and they might want to help you out, but when it comes to something like that, they're just not going to stay, as you say, they'll stay for a little while, but eventually they're going to leave. So it might be a conversation that you have with, I don't know if it's labor relations or would it be with HR, but something got to be done to take a look at these positions and see if some of them can be upgraded. And that's my 2 cents.
Commissioner, that is in the process as we speak, and some of them, say the court clerks, they have been, their pay grade has been upgraded. And then, as you know, everyone that was making less than $15 an hour have now been elevated to the $15 an hour. It is my understanding that the other classifications, such as clerical specialists, et cetera, that those are being looked at by HR and labor relations to increase the salary for those. But trust me, between Dwayne Seals, Pat Ways, and myself, they probably color ideas a lot of times because we're constantly calling for lifelines, and the bottom line is the bottom line, the salaries and the benefits. But that was a long way of answering your question. That's already happening.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Are you all set, Commissioner Clerk Coleman?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do we have any other commissioners who would like to ask a question to the clerk on this item? Okay, seeing none. I'm just looking over my notes here to see if I had anything else. I don't think so. I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today and, giving us an update as much as, it's pretty much the same as the time we last spoke. And hopefully we can work with HR and our new director and to get you some more staff so that we can get this wait time for the appointments down. So again, thank you so much. If there's anything else you want to add before we go.
It's a couple of things. On that note, again, I want to steer you back to, as far as the wait time, of course, staffing is important, but we still cannot crowd customers into the office with the limited space. Have you come over and visit us, Commissioner?
I've been in the
elections.
Office, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Make a date with me to come over, and probably getting the visual, you'll have greater understanding of what I'm talking about. And then a couple more things. We're still waiting on our, and Dwayne might know the status of it. We're waiting on where we'll have an efficient telephone system for our call center. I think that might help relieve some things, but as it stands, there is a call center phone number, and I'd like to give it. It is 313-967-6938, as well as we're inundated with clerk help questions or requesting appointments, and you know that's clerkhelp@waynecounty.com. But those are the ways to contact me and Kathy C. Garrett at waynecounty.com. I'm very responsive to emails. The staff over here, they're very responsive to clerk help, and the call center is very responsive, but we do need an efficient system like maybe you guys have over there in the Guardian building. Okay, but thank you for the invite and the opportunity.
Thank you again.
All right.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
F, such other matters may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, I have none. Next item.
Public comments.
Okay, first, did we receive any emails?
We did receive an email from Chad King, but he also has his hand raised right now, so maybe he would like to speak instead.
Okay, Mr. King, would you rather us read your email, or would you like to just speak?
I'd like to speak.
Okay, you have 3 minutes, and we don't go back and forth. We don't respond to public comments.
That's fine. Thank you very much for the time and opportunity. My name is Chad King. I'm the co-founder of the Black Bottom Gun Club, where I humbly serve as the president of this chapter of the National African American Gun Association, and I'm the Midwestern Regional Director for the National African American Gun Association. I approached this body in February of 2021 on this very topic, and to date, there have been no improvements. Many Wayne County residents are attempting to exercise their legal right to carry a firearm by doing what's asked of them to obtain a concealed pistol license in the state of Michigan. We see that in Detroit, CCW only arrests have skyrocketed according to the Neighborhood Defender Services data. In Oakland County, a resident can get a CPL appointment within a week of taking a class. The same is true in Macomb and Washington counties. In Wayne County, the wait time for an appointment is 17 weeks. While we're absolutely sensitive to the precautionary measures that need to be taken in response to COVID-19, and we're sensitive to the pressures of staffing, What we're seeing in the Wayne County Clerk's Office specific to CPL appointments is unsustainable, and it highly correlates, if not directly contributes, to the amount of arrests for carrying concealed weapons. Now, I'm also an instructor, and several of my students and the students of my colleagues have had exorbitant delays in getting their concealed pistol license appointments, which precludes them from being able to legally protect themselves and their family members. After following the law, Wayne County citizens' rights are being delayed and thus denied due to no fault of their own. This not only can be seen as an infringement on their rights, but also placing these residents in harm's way without a legal means to defend their life if needed. What is the plan for the county clerk to address the CPL appointment delays? When will the Henry Ruff Road office open? It's understood that Wayne County may process more CPL applications than other counties that neighbor us, so it will make sense to allot more resources to this function of the clerk's office. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment at this time? You can either raise your hand or just unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. I thought I saw someone else with a hand raised. Oh, okay. One last call for public comments. Okay. Hearing no further public comments, we'll move on to the next item.
Adjournment.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
Anyone want to support? Okay, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
Hey,
Keeping this
See-
line open for seniors and vets for anybody who's on that committee.
I can just stay here for seniors and vets?
Yes.
Okay, I'm staying here.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this meeting of Seniors and Veterans Affairs. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kinlock,
Present.
Commissioner Killeen,
Here.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, Commissioner Kniezek,
Here.
Chair Scott,
Present.
Public Quorum present.
Thank you. And hopefully Commissioner McCormick will be coming back on real soon. Okay, next item, please.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none.
C, approval of the minutes from the December 12th, 2021 meeting.
Move approval with any necessary corrections.
Okay, move
Support.
approval. That was Commissioner Kinlock. And who was the other person?
Colleen supports.
Oh, and Commissioner Killeen supports. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
All right. Well, is there any dissents? Since none, the motion is carried. Thank you. Next item.
D, unfinished business. There was none listed.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 1, under new business, requesting commission approval of Amendment 5 to a 3-year contract with the Senior Alliance.
All right, yeah, this is regarding the halal meals, and I believe that I heard the director on.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Chairwoman, and Happy New Year if I haven't told you that, and to all of the commissioners, Happy New Year and good afternoon. Pleased to be
Thank you so much, Director Davis.
Thank you. I'm happy to be joined here today with a member of my team, Joan Savakis. And yes, this is a amendment to support our halal meals. It's a renewal of the contract for the halal meal program, which serves older adults in the Dearborn and Dearborn Heights area who require halal meals as their Meals on Wheels nutritional support.
Right. Now it does say congregant. So are they able to serve congregate meals now?
Congregate meals for all of our program are in a drive-up format.
Okay.
During this pandemic, we were able to enhance our halal program to offer the drive-up component, but at this time we didn't have any takers. But what we did find was that people who didn't know about our halal meal program were able to participate. So we had an increase in our home delivered meals on the halal program side, but the components do exist for both drive up congregate and home delivered for halal, just like in our other program. And this grant award is for all of our programs, not only just for the halal, but for all of our programs.
Okay.
I just want to make that clarification.
Okay, I'm glad you did. Okay. All right. Are there any questions of the director?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Kinlock.
If Commissioner Colleen has a question, I was going to make the motion, but I'll wait to see if Colleen has.
No, go ahead and make the motion, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Madam Chair, I move to recommend to the commission approval of item number 1.
Support that, and I have a question, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kinlock. And Commissioner Colleen, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, and good afternoon, Director Whitmore Davis. People keep insisting that we had a new year. Somehow that got by me. I don't know. Must be the COVID. I think your last comment may have clarified this, because I was thinking as you were doing this, do we have a separate budget for halal?
No, we don't. My
My
apologies.
apologies. No, it's not apology. I understand. But do we have a greater need for halal than we've had in the past?
We did have an uptick in participants during through this COVID time period that we're in.
Yeah.
I think the need is there. It's definitely consistent. It also needs to be supported, and I still stand by that. I feel it should have a congregate element, just like the other part of our meal program. I think there should always be equity in all approaches to the work. So, but this contract is for our entire program. Madam Chairwoman was speaking about halal, and I'm passionate about the halal program, so I did start talking about it. So, but for clarification, today's business before this august body is for our entire program, all aspects, liquid, halal, and our home delivered meals, and which has the congregate component, which is drive up.
Yeah, I gotcha. And so thank you for that. And how have our numbers changed in terms of the number of meals served through this, whatever this thing is we're going through? Is it down? What's going on? What's the trend?
Great question. It fluctuates. My team, we report to the ASA, which has changed its acronym, and I want to, if I may, if it's okay, to have my colleague Joan join me in this response, to give the actual numbers. I don't want to search in my files for our last reported number, but our numbers fluctuate. We were as high at one point to almost 2,800 a week. Then we've gone down some weeks to 1,900, and that's when, and then there's other times we're at 2,300. I think right now, the last report, Joan, correct me if I'm wrong, to ASA was like 2,300, something around those numbers, 2,200.
Yes, Lisa, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Joan Savrakis, Division
Good
Director.
afternoon, Joan. Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe you can tell us why it's fluctuating.
Well, the holidays, the Christmas holidays, always bring an influx of new clients. Folks get together, they see their parents, and they haven't seen them in a year. And the next thing you know, the request for services in January and February significantly increase. We may see a little fluctuation down in the summertime. Some of our folks are actually able, to get out a little bit in the summertime, and they may not need the meals, or their grandkids are out of school, their caregivers or family members are able to spend more time with them, which they may temporarily go off the program in the summer. So it depends. There's a lot of factors that come into play. Congregate drive up has been pretty steady. I mean, we are happy to know that between 130 and 140 people per week participate in the congregate drive up, which has been, pretty steady. We do add people on. We encourage individuals who need congregate meal service to enroll in the program. And like Lisa had said, we try to initiate a congregate halal program. So we advertised for the congregate site, and all of the people that were interested ended up being eligible for the home delivered halal program. So that increased their numbers as well. Home delivered is constantly changing. We could have, as many as 100 people a week come onto the program, but then also, significant numbers of people who are either temporarily off or terminate from the program. So it's a very fluid participation.
If I may, Madam.
Your hand up, Commissioner Killeen.
Well, I'll put it up.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Well, how's your volunteers for delivering home meals then? How's those numbers for you?
We had a significant drop when COVID first jumped.
Quantify that, please.
We went anywhere from, because we were doing daily volunteerism where we had about 800 people actively volunteering to only delivering one time a week. And that made our numbers go down to like almost 300, 350.
Wow.
And then we've, through working with my team and Ms. Servakis, Ms. Haddon at our office, we've implemented a second day for multiple reasons. It gives us additional contact with our participants to help us continue to erode isolation, which is at an all-time high through COVID, but also to give them an opportunity to have some fresh elements. So I've been before you and shared that we have fresh milk now, fruit, fresh bread. I know those seem like small things, but those are important issues for older adults who are homebound. And now we also have been implementing a test pilot in some of our communities where we're doing the fresh cook chill, where the food is not frozen like the other meals, but they're prepared freshly in our kitchen at the in Detroit at Trio Kitchen, and then they are prepared and versus being frozen, to try to work and see how we can get learnings from this pilot that we're running to how do we get back to fresh prepared food like what everyone enjoyed, what we enjoyed providing to older adults. But that social distancing is just really a challenge, and then Omicron didn't help matters.
But you have enough volunteers to get around to everybody now with the 2-day schedule?
Yes, we do, but we have a need specifically in the city of Inkster.
Yeah.
So if anyone, if I may, is watching, who's interested, we have a need to help. We're a little thin in volunteerism in Inkster, but overall the program, we're pretty strong, but we do have a soft spot there. So Inkster is a space that we could need for some support.
Well, these volunteers are real heroes for our seniors.
They are.
And boy, I'd like to see some public recognition of them to get the idea out there in the public, right? That these jobs are so important. And perhaps the drive-up meals, perhaps in this COVID environment, it's a good excuse to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've gotten that feedback at all, but okay. Well, thank you very much for those responses and, keeping this going during these times and getting our seniors fed. Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
And thank you so much, Joan and Director Davis. We do appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I share one thing?
certainly.
We agree with Commissioner Colleen around appreciating our volunteers. We will explore publicly how we can do it, but we have privately given all of them a personal gift from our team, from the county team, to all of them, just to try to give them one small token personally for their service. But Commissioner Colleen is right, but I wanted him to be aware that we have tried, even in COVID, to acknowledge them and give them a small token of appreciation.
Okay, and that's something that all of us can do as commissioners too. Put it in our newsletters and thank them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you so much, and
thank you.
Thank him for just even mentioning that, because sometimes we do forget, you know, and we do have to remember to help those who are out there helping our seniors and stuff. Yes. So thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Kenlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Colleen,
Aye.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Damn mute button.
Commissioner Kniezek,
Yes.
Chair Scott.
Yeah, yes. Okay, thank you so much. And we will recommend this to the full board. So next item, please.
2, a discussion on the County Veteran Services Fund Grant.
Is our director online? Director, I believe that he was going to talk on the Veterans Service regarding the grant.
It says he's here. He's muted.
Okay, unmute yourself. All right, there he is, Director Kwesi Besseria. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
We got some feedback.
Somehow you went back on mute, Director.
Can you hear me now?
Indeed.
This is.
Okay,
Can
I
you hear
think
me?
the feedback is gone. Yes.
I'm gonna call in.
Thank
again.
you so much.
Shoot. Crap. Can you hear me?
You're okay. Yes, go ahead, please.
Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. You have not entered any numbers. Please re-enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Crap. Just
We can
stand by.
Please re-enter your meeting ID.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think because of if 2 devices were going on, that's probably why there were feedback.
Yeah,
Right.
I think he's trying to call in.
Okay.
Ask him to mute his computer.
He can't hear us. Oh, I can write it in the chat.
He's calling in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Thank you. Something's wrong with my computer, but you can hear me out, so great. So thanks for
Yes.
being patient and listening to me and waiting for me. So I just wanted to first thank the Seniors and Veterans Committee for saying yes to the County Veteran Service Fund grant that we received from the state of Michigan. It's going to allow me to do a lot of things that we historically have done for only wartime veterans. And some of those things would be food vouchers, right? Although we're able to provide groceries through our normal policies, we'll still be able to give out Myers food cards, right, and food vouchers. And upon receipt of that, I'll send you a flyer, and I've got a flyer to share shortly after. But we'll be able to help those veterans immediately versus waiting roughly 10 to 12 days or having to go to another grocery store. We did that last year, was a success. So this year I secured quite a bit more, so I should be able to help them out on a month, or at least provide some on a monthly basis to different veterans across Wayne County. And when I get those funds, those vouchers, I'll send an email out to the county commission so we can publicize that. And I will also say for any future updates, I'll send it to the county commission for distribution and place it on our Wayne County Veterans page. We spent some time over the last few weeks updating our web page so it reflects what we're doing, what opportunities are available to area veterans. Again, with the County Veteran Service Fund, it allows me to put some billboards across Wayne County so that we can make sure everybody knows what services are available. So I'm extremely excited about that opportunity. One thing we're going to be doing is we're going to bring a veteran service officer into our building starting February 8th. And for some of you who may understand how veterans receive their benefits, they have to give limited power of attorney to a veteran service officer. They usually belong to the Disabled American Veterans or American Legion or some entity like that, and they can help that veteran receive those benefits. So my team is focused on giving out the Wayne County benefits. This veteran service officer will be co-located in our office roughly 2 days a week, and they will help that veteran from soup to nuts apply for federal benefits. So I think that's a win for all of us right there. Also with this County Veteran Service Fund grant, we will be able to do some remote work. And so I was just in Southgate this morning looking at an office space that we can use to help those veterans that reside downriver. And again, 84,000 veterans live in Wayne County. We have a large population downriver, but roughly 75% of the benefits or the beneficiaries of my office have been in Detroit. And so I owe those veterans downriver an opportunity to take advantage of our services. So if they're not going to come to me, I'm going to take it downriver to them. So we're looking forward to wrapping up the details on that potential lease down in Southgate at Downriver Conference Center. I'll pause right there. I'm going to try to share my screen quickly, if you will allow me to. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yep. So this will be the first flyer that I send out. We just revised it the other day. And we're really telling our area veterans that we have your back, right? And you see right here, we've updated and put the Space Force on there. That's relatively new, and it is legitimate. It is the Space Force. It's been in existence for roughly 2 years now, right? But this flyer will, when I send it out to you, it covers the honorably discharged wartime and peacetime veterans and their families. Let them all know that we can help pretty much all the veterans in Wayne County now. So, and it just talks about some of the services that we have available. As most of you know, we've got the funeral burial expense up to $1,000. We have rent assistance, property tax assistance for the last 3 years. We can buy them work uniforms for those who are trying to go back to the workplace. We can provide work uniforms. We can provide uniforms for their kids to go to school, groceries from a couple grocery stores, and or the food vouchers from Myers. Utility bills, it's cold. Some people are having some challenges because they're off of work. But we can find a way to help those veterans in a lot of ways going forward. These first half of this year, we should be really aggressive about that. And then it just tells them to go to our website for more information, waynecounty.com/veterans, and then they can get some additional information there. But again, everything from my office just takes that phone call of 313-224-5045. And then we would give them a checklist of things that we're looking for. And then we start that process of trying to help those veterans and their families get the resources that they need.
Thank you so much. So are there any questions of the director? Any questions of the director? Well, thank you so much. And so
thank you.
Yeah, so all of that was in last week's budget that we approved. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. All of that was in that budget, and it's all good stuff for our peacetime veterans and their families.
All right, thank you so much. Where will the boards be placed? You said you're going to put up some.
There's going to be, so there's an outsourced company, and they're going to strategically place all across Wayne County. They have certain locations. But what's even neat about this is that they're going to be at gas stations as well. You know, as you pump your gas, there's that media message that will play. A lot of people will see those media messages at the gas station. So, hey, you may not be looking up at the road, but you got to get gas.
Right.
And our message will be right there to let them know. And if they can't use it, somebody in their family needs to know that we have some resources available to our Wayne County veterans. So I'm being really aggressive this time around to find a way to help these veterans.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Any questions of the committee? Any questions? Well, thank you so much, Director. We appreciate you coming on today. We had both groups, for my seniors and my veterans, so I'm very appreciative of that. So thank you so much. Madam Chair, Clerk, next item.
F, such other matters may be properly submitted before the committee.
I don't know of any. Next item.
The comments.
Okay, is there anyone on that wishing to comment? Anyone from the public? Anyone from the public wishing to comment? Anyone online? Everyone's been unmuted, have they?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Okay, did we get all of our members on today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item.
Adjournment.
May I have a motion?
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Killeen, supported by Commissioner McCormick. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none. We are adjourned. Thank you all so much. Have a good day, everybody.